This is a photograph that changed my life. This is a photograph from 1989, 12th June. This was the time when cardiac surgery started for the first time in Gujarat, and I was fortunate to be part of that. This is me, that guy in green dress next to this one, the second green guy, and that is Dr. K. Dastoor, the Bhishma Pita of cardiac surgery in India. That is Dr. V.C. Patel. And this was the time cardiac surgery started for the first time, 12th June 1989, and I was part of that operation too. So this photograph and this person inspired me a lot, Dr. K. N. Dastoor. He was a cardiac surgeon in Mumbai, and he once told me a story that they were trying to start open heart surgery, and when they were trying to start open heart surgery, they initially practiced on dogs. And he said that we tried operating on dogs, and only on the 17th dog we were successful. All the previous dogs died, and that dog who survived, they called it victory, because with that dog they learned how to use the heart-lung machine. So these are the people who had pioneered cardiac surgery. He was a person who pioneered. He's called the Bhishma Pita of cardiac surgery in India. And once I was in a very difficult time, I didn't know what to do with myself. I went and met him. He was admitted in a hospital, in the hospital bed with a fractured neck femur, and I said, I want to meet you, sir. I was in medical college those days. What do I want to become and where do I want to train? And imagine the humility of that guy in the bed, such a big man. He came up, he let me come up to see him in his hospital bed. So that was an amazing thing in life. This is a picture of Dr. Girinath. He was my teacher. He was the head of cardiac surgery at Apollo Hospitals, and he was head of cardiac surgery till recently. He is one of the men who pioneered cardiac surgery in India, and I trained under him. Amazing person. To see him operate was wonderful. But more than that, he was a great team leader, a great person, and very inspirational in life. Every day, he would encourage all the juniors to do something better in life. When I left him in 93, he just told me one simple thing: put your head down and work, everything will follow. And I did that, and honestly it worked. So I tell all of you, you can follow, that's what I learned. One day, I took up a patient, somebody referred to me a patient, atrial mass. There was a big mass in the right atrium, and somebody said, okay, you need to remove that. I took the patient onto the table, I removed the right atrial mass. But the patient didn't come off the heart-lung machine. I worked even more. Then I went in and opened the pulmonary artery, and I found out there were huge clots in the pulmonary artery. And maybe that was the first case of pulmonary endarterectomy in this country. In 1993, I did this case. I lost him on the table, and then I realized that just don't jump and take up every patient for surgery. You have to analyze, you have to see the patient properly. You have to see everything, right from the ECG to the X-ray to the echo, everything yourself before you put a patient to table. And honestly, even today, any patient going on the table, I would have seen everything before he gets to the table. I never made that mistake again. So be sure that you've seen your patient properly before you advise some surgery. Otherwise, the patient is surely going to die or get into trouble. We had a very funny experience at civil hospital. Then I joined civil hospital, and there we lost 5 mitrals in a row. And then the professor, Dr. T.K. Patel, he said that surgeons have to stop operating. We won't let you operate anymore because you've lost so many patients. And he said, go back to the drawing table and have a look. And I went back, I looked at everything we did, we analyzed it, and I realized that we were making some mistake with the cardioplegia. Those were the very early days of cardiac surgery, when things were still evolving, we never understood the heart. And we realized that the cardioplegia was the problem. We changed the solution, got into something better, and after that we did not lose anyone. So, whenever you get into trouble, do not take it just like that. Don't take it sitting down. You have to go, you have to analyze, you have to see. You know, you have to remember, excellence in cardiac surgery lies in mastering fundamentals, repeating them flawlessly, and never taking the heart for granted. Not the heart, don't take any organ for granted. About opportunity, I told you, when God closes one, He opens 2 more. One day I was in Rajasthan hospital, and it was just 10th day of my working there, and Shabildas Mehta, the ex-CM, he came with a bad heart attack, and they called me. I was just 33, 34 years of age at that time, and they said, this guy is crashing, do you want to operate upon him? He will die otherwise. Imagine, I was so young, and I just joined private practice, and if this person would have died, my career was over. But well, I said, no, I'm going to take this chance. When opportunity knocks on your door, you've got to take a chance. I operated upon him. He lived for another good 17 years after that, and that really helped me in my career as a cardiac surgeon. It helped me take off. Once we had a different problem, you know, we were operating and all patients starting to getting some infection or the other. We cultured everything, everything was going pseudomonas, and we were very sad what happened. I even stopped operating. We tried to look for what is the problem. The hospital did culture of all the OT staff, all the doctors, and we stopped operating. And I couldn't understand. I cultured the water, it grew pseudomonas. And then I went in and I found a small filter standing outside the pipeline. I don't know why they had put it up there, and I took it out and I cultured it, and it grew pseudomonas. So if you get into a problem like that, you have to get in. You have to try to see what's happening. You have to find the reason. You have to find out why it's happening. Otherwise, you will get into trouble. Your patients will keep getting into trouble. So never give up. Never take anything sitting down. So you are getting infection, you have to solve the problem. You have to find out why it is happening. You have to get down to the bottom of the problem. And then we solve this problem, and fine, we were good to go again. So every time, be like a detective. Be like something different. I went and met him and I said, okay, why do my patients die? You talk so nicely, these operations can be done easily. And then he told me the science and art behind these operations. He told me, not only you have to do the operation, but you have to do it properly. So that's the next thing I learned. Doing surgery is okay, but every surgery doesn't seem as it seems on a video. You can see somebody doing a video on YouTube, but that's not going to be it. You have to learn the science and the art of that operation. So he told me, oh, you have to reduce the heart, but you have to bring it into the right size and shape. That is when I realized that there is a science to every operation. Just don't do copycat operations. And then I started this operation called ventricular restoration using a sizer balloon and doing them. And believe it or not, I've done more than 900 of these surgeries, and the patients have done very well. I have given so much hope and life to the patients who would have been considered otherwise absolutely hopeless. They were ready to die. Something like this, a huge clot in the left ventricle, removed it, put a sizer balloon, and over that I repaired the heart. So this operation we mastered, it saved life. So what did I learn from the operating room? That you have to learn the proper art and science of the operation. Then a lot of patients used to have mitral regurgitation. I didn't know what to do. You can't change mitral valves for all the sick patients. It wasn't given in the book. So patients would come with ischemic cardiomyopathy and we would operate and they would die. So what it did teach me, I used to have persistent failure, poor outcomes, balloon pump machines, ventilators, and these patients were not doing well, and I was so dejected. Okay, I want to do all these sick patients, but they just don't make it. They die. They don't do well. How can I go on? And then again, I started looking for answers, and I realized that it was ischemic mitral regurgitation, and this valve also had to be repaired. And then I went on to this journey of repairing the valves in ischemic mitral regurgitation, and today I am the man who has done maximum work in this area on the planet Earth. And this is like the road not, this is like the road not taken. Nobody goes into this area, and I ventured into this field, and the maximum number of surgeries for ischemic mitral regurgitation have been done by us. And we were the people to implant maximum number of these rings worldwide. So essentially, you have to take the road not taken. You have to do things other people were not doing. You have to learn how to play the sambelu, and that is what takes care. So this is how the operation went. We used to put these types of rings, and these patients do extremely well. Like yesterday only, I put a ring like this, and we put a few rings a week. And honestly, it was about giving hope to people who have none. And we've saved a lot of patients with this. A story that happened, something happened recently also with us. So it's about, I want to tell you that you have to constantly think as a surgeon. You should not ever close your mind. This should always be open. Your eyes and ears, you have to keep thinking what happened to my patients. In between, a lot of our patients used to get hoarseness of voice, they used to get diaphragmatic palsies and stuff like that, and I didn't understand why it's happening. My wife is an anesthetist, she's sitting here in front of me, and I said, oh, it's something to do with the endotracheal tube, you're not doing your job properly. Then I thought it's the cautery. We thought of multiple things, but nothing, we couldn't solve the problem. Then one day I was just sitting out in the cafeteria and thinking, how do I solve this problem? And we have to defibrillate the heart again and again when we're doing cardiac surgery, and we were giving a shock of 20 joules. I said, let's come down on it, and we came down to 10 joules. Believe it or not, the problem was solved. So essentially what was happening, when we were defibrillating the patient on the table, the shock was going back in the phrenic nerve, into the recurrent laryngeal nerve, and causing palsy. And after that, the problem has been nearly solved. So essentially, it's not just that you can forget anatomy and physiology. Keep anatomy, physiology always in your head. Whatever you've been taught in medical college will be useful for the rest of your life. Never aim to forget that. Always remember every single detail, what you've heard and what you've read, and whatever you can remember. And when you forget something, go back to the books or the drawing board and have a look. So I come to the final part of my talk. So what is an operating room? Or what is an operating theatre? It's just not an operating room. No, it's not. It's the sanctum sanctorum of a hospital. For a surgeon, it's the temple. It's a stage. A surgeon is like an artist who performs. So it is about your performance. It has to be everything about your performance. As a surgeon, you have to perform. You have to deliver every day. And every day has to be your finest performance. There is no day. If any one of you want to become a surgeon, remember that the theatre is your stage. You are an artist. The theatre is your temple. You have to worship every day. Then it is about meditation. It is about excellence. It is about delivering every single day. You cannot say, oh no, today I was not in a good mood. It's okay. Today I fought with my wife. I'm not in a good mood. It's okay if this patient doesn't make it. No. You may have fought with your brother, father, mother, anybody at home. But when you come on the table, it should be only and only about that patient. Your heart and your mind should concentrate only on one thing, the patient. The operating table is finality. It is about finality. There is nothing less than finality of what happens. And you have to be ready to face any challenge you get on the table. Every case is not like they say on the angio report, oh, 2 vessels you have to graft and the patient will be okay. No, it's never like that. Everything is different on the operating table. It can give you any challenge. It is like a battlefield at times and sometimes a mirror. So what is the operating room about? It's about humility, about patience, about teamwork, about leadership. You have to work in team with your colleagues, with your assistants, with your nursing staff, with your anesthetist. Everybody will be there and you have to work as a team. It teaches you humility. You think you're a great surgeon and the patient will crash in front of you and he'll be dead and you can do nothing about it. And you can just go home and cry. So that is what it is about. So in my work I have learned that also being surgeons you have to have humility. Being doctors you have to have humility. Never ever belittle your colleagues. You may have any surgeon who is a competitor. You may have a doctor who is your competitor. Never belittle him. Always show respect for your doctor colleagues. Never try to bring anyone down because tomorrow somebody will bring you down. Never try to bring down your colleagues. It's very important to see that you respect each and every person around you. Dr. S.K. Kaushik, he's one of the senior most cardiologists in Udaipur, and he told me 3 A's of success, and I'm going to give this triple A of success, which I follow today to all of you. The first one is available, second one is affability, and third is ability. Why? If your availability is there, then the patient is going to come, so you always have to be available. Second is affability. You have to talk nicely with people, with patients. You can't be rude. Hey, if you do that, everybody will run away. You have to be very affable. You have to be very good with your colleagues, with the doctors. You should have humility bagged, absolutely full of humility in your hearts. That's very important. The last is ability. So remember, even if you are a good doctor, a good surgeon, the first 2 are more important than your ability, the availability and the affability. Everything follows that. The 2 things are very important, remember that. In life, I did not have work at one time in my life. It was very difficult to get patients to me. And I met one Dr. Chandradal Patel at Avdut's Eye Center in Surat. What did he tell me? Every Sunday he would go out and he would take a particular road and he would go and meet every doctor on the way. And what did he tell every doctor? He said, sir, ek saal mein ek patient dete na. Send me 1 patient a year. That's all he would tell them. And he said, if you have 1,000 people sending you 1 patient a year, you have 1,000 patients. So this is a mantra of success which you all can remember. That in life, when you're practicing, go out, meet people, meet doctors. That's the only way you'll get work. You will have to go. You will have to market yourself. Nobody's going to send you patients just like that. So go out, make friends, make people who teach you, who listen to you, whom you can tell, okay, send me a patient a year. And I followed that and I did a lot of work like that. And in fact, I have traveled so much, I've done so many camps, and that is the reason why a lot of people know me and a lot of patients came to me later on. Coming to teamwork, I'm sure all of you have read this story. There is a bundle of sticks and there are 3 children. Each stick separately can be broken, but the bundle cannot be broken. So in life, team is very important. Remember, team up, have friends, have colleagues, work as a team. Singularly, you can be broken, but if you work as a team, you cannot be broken. All my work that I've done today is about my team. I have a team of people, and we've been together right from the beginning of my career, like 93. We've all worked together. This is the team, and my wife, who's sitting in front of me, has been part of my work and my team since day zero. So we are around 20 people who work together from morning to night. In good times, bad times, in celebrations, in death, we are all together all the time. And make a good team for yourself. It gives you support, and these times are very difficult, very challenging. Working alone is literally impossible. If you're alone, anybody can break you, but if you're in a team, nobody can break you. It is because of that team I could do this epic journey. Wherever I went, whatever I did, we were all together as a dream team together, and today we've this achievement of making Epic Hospital. And always respect your life partner. All of you are very young, you're going to have a life partner in life. Be sure to have a partner who actually is like a key in the lock, and see that you do everything in life with her. My life partner, my wife Kalpana, she has been through thick and thin with me. We've had good times, bad times, sad times, happy times, everything. She's been part of my work, she's been part of my life, she's been part of all my aspirations. You know, the best thing about the team and everything was, whatever I did, whatever I decided, nobody questioned me. One day we'd be working at a hospital. Evening I would say, oh, I've left this hospital, I want to go somewhere else. I would come up with difficult decisions that, oh, we're going to go and operate in another city tomorrow. The team always stood by. My wife always stood by with whatever I did. She took everything, and in fact she encouraged me. So get a life partner who actually encourages you, helps you through the journey called life. It's very difficult. The story of doctors is not easy. It's about tears to smiles, about sorrow to happiness, and still we have to treat patients with dignity. It's a different story. In the patient's sadness is our happiness. So we should not say that it's about making money, but we become very happy if we treat a patient well. So if a patient's sorrow or tear is converted into a smile, that is actually what the doctor needs. That is the encouragement that pushes us. That is the energy that vitalizes us every day morning when we get up and go to work. When you take a patient up for surgery in the OR, it should not be a mitral valve replacement, it should not be a triple vessel disease, it should not be a reduced sternotomy, it should not be like an appendix or a cancer or stuff like that. Always in your head, remember, this patient on the table is somebody's father, mother, brother, sister, son. He is a human being. He is not a piece of equipment that's come in for repairing. Always remember, he is a human being, and there is a loved one waiting outside that door to hear how the operation went or how the patient is. So remember not to treat the patient as a commodity, but to treat each patient as a human being. Do not reduce human being to a diagnosis or a procedure. Please don't do that. Remember, there is a loved one. You have to give them compassion. You have to be passionate about your work, but at the same time, those relatives need your love, your caring, everything. This is a movie that I want every one of you to see. The movie Patch Adams, from which the movie Munna Bhai MBBS was made. And in that, there is a scene in the end where Patch Adams, Robbie Williams plays the role of Patch Adams in this movie. He is questioned in front of all the students, the medical students and the faculty and everyone, why he wants to become a doctor and how he speaks about it. In that, Patch Adams, the original person, and this guy actually, Robbie Williams, says this in this little speech of his. You treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you, you'll win no matter what the outcome. So always remember, treat the person, not the disease. Don't treat that person like a disease. So patient may die of his disease, he may die of cancer, he may die of a heart attack, he may die of something. But you have to treat him like a person, treat the family, be there with everyone. In the end, you'll be a winner. It's not that all your patients are going to go home alive, everybody's going to be good. It's not going to happen. You're going to have some people who won't make it. But if you treat the person, the patient, the family, then you will win no matter what. So always remember that. You know, I was very fortunate in my life that I did what I loved. So try to do what you love. If you do what you love, then I'm sure that you will never feel tired of what you're doing. Otherwise, you get exhausted in life. Try to pick up a career, a passion, a work, or a specialty that really you're passionate about. And if you do that, you will never get tired. Today, I work 9 to 9. I'm never tired. I'm the happiest when I'm in the operating room. My wife will be angry when I go home again because she'll say, all you want to be is in the operating room. No, not true. I'm also happy when I'm back with you at home in the evening. But honestly, I love operating. I love cardiac surgery. It's like a passion in my life. I get tears in my eyes when I talk about cardiac surgery. I love it so much. And I always say, whenever I die, I want to die with my gloves on. I don't want to give up cardiac surgery. Life is something that we all cherish. You know, I was born on 8th February 1964, last couple of slides. And, you know, I was premature, 28 weeks, 1.8 kilo. And every day they would come out and say, he's going to die tomorrow, he's going to die tomorrow, he's going to die tomorrow. And my mother would keep praying silently, my mother and father. And in the most adverse conditions, they saw to it that I survived. On the 8th day of my birth, I was also operated, but somehow I survived. And I realized from then that if you pray from your heart and work hard, then miracles are not impossible. So all of us have to realize that whatever we do, we have to work hard, we have to pray, we have to always be positive in life, that miracles are possible. And I've seen a lot of miracles in my life. I was going to die then, but I've been alive for 62 years just because of my parents, and I thank them for that, keeping me alive. So after I've been born, it's 62 years that I've been born, and I believe life is a celebration. Every day that I was supposed to die then, and I'm still alive, so I say celebrate life. So all of you, I tell you, every day should be a celebration. Every day that you get up in the morning, you should be happy that you're alive, you should bounce to work, you should be happy to be there on the planet. Every day should be a celebration of life. And for me, every day has always been a celebration. I've enjoyed whatever I did, and I've lived life with enthusiasm. And I tell you, all of you, whatever good or bad, be happy, live with enthusiasm. You have a girlfriend or a boyfriend who gave away with you, don't worry, at least go on celebrating life, alone or with someone else. That you need to keep doing. Still, I know many of you will become very successful in life, but with success, you must have humility. There is this wonderful qawwali, आज जवानी पर इतराने वाला कल पछताएगा सूरज धीरे धीरे ढल जाएगा. Listen to this qawwali. So whatever you do, even if you become successful, have success or digest success with humility. Do not let it get into your head. So you can be successful, you can be someone great, but don't let it get into your head. And well, all of you know this. I'm sure there is not one person in this audience who doesn't know this. With great power comes great responsibility. You all will be bestowed with the power to heal, and that is a great power. You know, if you cut someone with a knife, it's called assault or murder. Today I cut someone every day, and there's a power that has been bestowed to me that I can cut people. But with that comes great responsibility. Whatever you do in your life, do it with responsibility, do it well. Do not ever betray this responsibility or trust that patients give to you. So you have to remember, great power comes with great responsibility. Do not forget this. So you are all going to be bestowed with the power to heal, and that is a big responsibility, and you have to live up to it. Well, this guy's movie is coming in April. Michael Jackson is going to be there on the screens in a movie called Michael. We used to say this: if you enter this world knowing you are loved, and you leave this world knowing the same, then everything between that happens can be done. So remember, when you're born, you should be loved. When you go, you should be loved. A lot of things going to happen in the journey of life, good and bad, but you can deal with everything. See that when you go, you are loved by the world and the planet and the people around you. That is very, very important. And the last line, I don't know whether you've seen this movie Anand or not, but Rajesh Khanna was suffering from cancer and he dies later on in the movie. He says, Babu Mushai, Jindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi. So live a big life, whatever happens. Live long. I don't want anyone to live less. Live long, but Jindagi badi chahiye. Do whatever you do, but kuch bada karke dikhana chahiye. Thank you very much.